Hello, I'm Laura Marshall.
And I'm Melinda Rose, and this is Light Matters for September 4th, 2013.
On today's show, a spaghetti-like surface makes for stronger SERS sensors, light might replace electricity blasts to restore healthy heartbeats, and lasers head to the classroom.
Spaghetti-like arrays of gold-coated metallic carbon nanotubes can amplify the signals of surface-enhanced Raman spectroscopy enough to perform analyses that are more reliable, sensitive, and cost-effective. Previously, the detection limit of common SERS systems was in the nanomolar range, or 1/1000th of a mole, providing adequate signal strength in isolated cases only and yielding results with low reproducibility. But a new sensor developed jointly by ETH Zurich and Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory uses plasmonics to massively amplify the signals of Raman scattered light. CNT tips are coated with gold and a dielectric insulating material to prevent plasmonic energy leakage. The point of contact between the sensor's surface and the sample resembles a plate of spaghetti topped with sauce. However, between the strands of spaghetti, there are numerous randomly arranged holes that let scattered light through, with the many points of contact amplifying the signals. The insulation increased the sensitivity of the substrate by a factor of 100,000 in the molar concentration unit, enabling the detection of a certain organic species in a concentration of a few hundred femtomoles per liter. The team hopes to commercialize the technology with an industry partner, but first want to improve the sensitivity and the material's potential applications. The work appears in Advanced Materials.
When a person's heart slows or stops, the current practice is to jumpstart it with a blast of electricity from a pacemaker or defibrillator. But a multi-university team aims to put an optogenetic twist on the procedure by replacing the violent jolt of electricity with gently applied light. A defibrillator applies much more force than is needed by the heart. Bioengineers at Johns Hopkins and Stony Brook universities think they can use light to reshape the organ's behavior without blasting it. Optogenetics, the insertion of light-responsive proteins, is already being used to control the bioelectric behavior of certain brain cells. The team plans to give this technique a cardiac twist so that in the near future, low-energy light can be used to solve serious heart problems such as arrhythmia. Team leader Natalia Tryanova of Johns Hopkins has spent years developing highly detailed computer models of the heart, and the light-based tactic has been successfully tested on such a model. Her team will use the model to conduct virtual experiments, trying to determine how to position and control the light-sensitive cells to help the heart maintain healthy rhythm and pumping activity. They will also attempt to gauge how much light is needed to activate the healing process. The overall goal is to use the computer model to push the research closer to the day when doctors can begin treating their heart patients with gentle light beams, something they say could happen within a decade. The research was published in Nature Communications.
SPIE's Optics and Photonics Conference took place last week in San Diego, and the Society reports that attendance was up 6%.
Our own team from Photonics Media reported that traffic was pretty heavy on the exhibit floor, and most exhibitors they spoke to were busy as well.
Our Light Matters producer, Charlie Rose, was there and spoke to a number of exhibitors, including some in a special interactive pavilion called Photonics for a Better World.
One of those was Colette de Harport, who has created a group of products and associated curricula called Laser Classroom.
Here's Colette with more about how her products are helping students and teachers to learn about light, lasers, and optics.
My father owned a laser pointer business, and he no longer wanted to do that, and so he invited me to come and work with him. I did that. I bought the business, found selling product to be pretty boring, and wanted to get back into education, and in the meantime had really learned a lot about light and lasers and photonics, and became quite fascinated with the science of it all. And so I started talking with teachers about the fact that they bought a lot of laser pointers from us, and science education distribution companies also bought a lot of laser pointers from us. And as I talked to them, they said, you know, we use laser pointers to teach the basics of light and optics, mostly at the high school level, but what we really need is something that is a little more high functioning but doesn't cost a whole lot more. And so I created something called laser blocks. These are laser blocks. The design is a little bit more functional than a laser pointer in that it is stable and stays on the table. It has an on-off switch, so when you turn it on, it stays on. When you turn it off, it stays off. It's battery operated. While I designed laser blocks primarily with high schools in mind, where they're ending up is actually in first-year physics labs. Particularly the lecture demonstration people like them because they actually make the concepts a little bit more visible and easier to understand. And since I've been here at SPIE, I collaborated with the education department and we created a kit that the SPIE student chapters are using all over the world to take into high school classrooms to demonstrate what they know about light lasers and optics for the students who are just a little bit younger than them.
If you want to learn more about Laser Classroom and their products, there's lots of information on their website at laserclassroom.com, including free light experiments and information on how you can adopt a classroom.
We'll have more in the next few weeks from SPIE's Optics and Photonics show, including a fascinating interview with one of the plenary speakers, Jay Nemeth of Flightline Films, who handled all the video for the Felix Baumgartner jump last fall.
Wait, is that the guy that jumped from the balloon 24 miles up, breaking the sound barrier and a few records?
Yep, that's the guy, and Flightline built a special truck just to capture the whole thing.
Wow. Well, that's it for this edition of Light Matters, the Photonics Industry's only weekly newscast.
As always, you can write to us with your questions or comments at lightmatters@photonics.com.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.